Let's talk about trust. It's this invisible force that really holds our entire world together, from the economy to our personal relationships. But here's the thing, it's incredibly fragile. It's so easy to lose and almost impossible to get back. So why does it feel like we're all so suspicious these days? Well, today we're digging into Chapter 12 of Dan Ariely's fantastic book, Predictably Irrational, to figure that out.
So let me just ask you this. Have you ever seen an ad or gotten an offer and your first thought is just, nope? What's the catch? That feeling right there, that's what this is all about. It all starts with these small, everyday moments that have trained us to be skeptical.
All right, so the story in the book kicks off with a classic. The author sees this offer from his cable company for 1 month of free digital cable. I mean, who can resist the word free, right? So he makes the call, a technician comes out, and boom, he's all set up. And then, you guessed it, a month later, the bill shows up and it's for $60. So he calls customer service and they patiently explain to him that, well, the problem is his reading comprehension. See, buried in the 7-point font fine print, it said that free just meant the discount off the full price. And just like that, one little experience plants a seed of distrust.
This kind of thing happens all the time, which makes you wonder, just how deep does our collective suspicion really go? Well, Ariely and his colleagues decided they were going to measure it. Not with some boring survey, but with a pretty brilliant real-world experiment. Picture this. They set up a simple booth in a super busy public place, and the sign was as clear as it gets. Free money. No tricks, no gimmicks. They had a real stack of cash on the table. The offer was totally genuine. The only question was, would anyone actually believe it? And the results are, well, they're kind of wild. Take a look at this first bar. When they offered just a single dollar, almost nobody, just 1% of people even bothered to stop. Okay, fine, maybe it's not worth the effort. But then, look what happens when the offer jumps to $50. The number goes up, sure, but only to 19%. Just think about that for a second. A free $50 bill, and most people just walked right on by. And that number right there, 81%, that illustrates the problem perfectly. A staggering number of people walked right past a legitimate offer of free money. Why? Because that little alarm bell in their heads, trained by years and years of misleading ads, was screaming it's a trap. The potential cost of finding out the catch just felt way too high. So this deep-seated skepticism brings us to a really powerful idea from economics. Try to think of trust not just as a feeling, but as a public resource. Kind of like clean air or clean water. It's something we all benefit from, something we all use, but it's also something that any one of us can pollute for everybody else. This is what's known as the tragedy of the commons. The idea is pretty simple. Imagine a shared pasture. If a few farmers get greedy and let their cows eat way more than their fair share of grass, the pasture gets destroyed. And in the long run, the whole system collapses, and everyone, even the greedy farmers, loses. Trust works the exact same way. Okay, to really see this in action, let's walk through a little experiment called the public goods gain. Imagine you and 3 other people are each given $10. You can secretly put any amount of that money into a group pot. Here's the cool part. Whatever is in the pot gets doubled, and then that new total is split evenly among all 4 of you, no matter what you put in. So, what would you do? Let's just look at the 2 big possibilities here. On one hand, you have the perfect scenario. If everyone trusts each other and puts in their full $10, that's $40 in the pot. It doubles to $80, and everybody walks away with $20. You doubled your money. A huge win for the group. But, and this is a big but, there's a temptation. If just one person decides to hold back their $10 while everyone else contributes, the pot only gets to $60. The 3 people who trusted the system get $15 back, so they actually lost money. And the defector? They walk away with their original $10 plus their $15 share. They get $25. They win big, but at everyone else's expense. Now here's the real kicker. What do you think happens in the next round of the game? The people who got burned are not going to trust that person again, right? They'll probably contribute less or maybe nothing at all. And just like that, the whole system breaks down. That one selfish act poisons the well, and the chance for everyone to double their money is just gone. So what does it actually feel like to live in a world where that well of trust has been poisoned? Well, it fundamentally changes how we see everything. It makes us question even the most basic, simple facts about the world. For example, let's try another quick thought experiment. Here's a statement for you. The sun is yellow. Pretty simple, right? It's true. But what if I told you that statement came from a big corporation you don't like, or a political party you disagree with? Well, in an actual experiment, when a source was attached to a simple fact like this, people all of a sudden became less certain. They'd start to argue, well, sometimes it looks white and sometimes it looks more orange. Our distrust of the source literally made us doubt reality itself. And get this, it even messes with our physical senses. In another study, people listened to the exact same stereo system, but one group read a brochure from the manufacturer, while the other group read the exact same text, but they were told it was from the unbiased Consumer Reports. The result was mind-blowing. The group that thought the info was unbiased actually enjoyed the music more and said they'd be willing to pay over $100 more for the stereo. Distrusting the source literally made the music sound worse.
And this is where things get caught in a vicious cycle. Think about online dating. Research shows that people tend to fudge the numbers on their height or their income because they just assume everyone else is. So if you're an honest person, you're actually at a disadvantage. A woman might read a guy's profile that says he's 5'9" and automatically subtract an inch, assuming he's really 5'8". So to be seen accurately, even honest people start to feel the pressure to lie.
Okay, this all sounds pretty bleak, I know. But it's not hopeless. Trust is a resource that can be replenished. It's just that doing so requires a massive, deliberate, and usually very expensive investment. The absolute gold standard for this is the Tylenol crisis back in 1982, when 7 people tragically died from poisoned capsules. It could have been the end of the company, and it wasn't even their fault, but their response became legendary. They made the gut-wrenching decision to pull every single bottle of Tylenol off every shelf in the country. It cost them over $100 million. But by putting customer safety above everything else and then relaunching with new tamper-proof seals, they did the impossible. Within a year, they had regained almost all of their market share. They paid a huge short-term price to earn back that priceless long-term public trust.
So the lesson from Tylenol and other companies that really get it right is crystal clear. If you want to rebuild trust, you have to put people ahead of short-term profits. You have to be transparent, even when it hurts. You have to actively go looking for problems and solve them. And you have to have a rock-solid commitment to just being honest and fair. In the end, it really all boils down to that story we all learned as kids, the boy who cried wolf. He could get away with it once, maybe twice, but eventually the village learned not to believe him. And the real lesson of that story isn't just that lying is bad for the liar, it's that lying hurts everyone, because trust, once it's gone, is just so incredibly hard to earn back. Which leaves us with one last thing to think about. If trust really is this shared resource that benefits all of us, and if dishonest actors are polluting it for their own short-term gain, then what's our role in all this? How do we, as individuals, as consumers, as citizens, actively reward the companies and the people who are actually trying to protect that resource for all of us?